I want to be a player who can be more respected and inspire people to be more humble.
You'll see more calculated aggression from me, but I'll definitely be the one that's fighting a lot of people.
Forced to flash away. Dardoch's able to grab the double. A hop, skip, and a jump right back. A triple kill for Immortal's jungler.
We didn't expect them to give me Rengar,
And Reno risen at the back. Oh, Ridnori in between the turrets.
but I appreciate it.
Welcome to week 3 of the North American League of Legends Championship Series. We're coming to you live here from our LCS studios in Los Angeles, California. The fans are awesome. They're covered in blue lights and they are ready to go for today's League of Legends action. Phoenix One walking into the studio just moments ago to start their match. And their opponents, of course, Dardoch, his jersey seen, Cody's son as well, walking to the practice room. Those locations, by the way, about 20 feet apart, so it's almost just it's going to sequester them over. Anyway, we are here to analyze the games and break down the action. My name is David Freak Turley. With me, my favorite analyst of all time, Aiden Zyrene Moon.
Oh, that makes up for the fact that Dash is not here and I was promised a desk
Yeah.
and punch.
Broken. Well, I can punch
No, no,
you.
no.
Too
What?
late. Yeah.
Wait.
You wanted to be promised a punch, so I delivered for you.
EU gets spankings, NA gets punches?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we censored out what happened on this or that. So
Was it a punch?
No. Anyway, let's talk about games. We're starting our weekend off with a reminder of how the teams are ranked against one another. Cloud9 undefeated, alone in first place, beautiful for them. But TSM, FlyQuest, and Phoenix One are all 3-1, right behind them, tied for second. A great start for these squads. Behind a giant pack of teams in the middle is, of course, the bottom of the standings, where Envy are sadly alone in last place, envying the teams who have a win. Now we'll see which teams can move up throughout this weekend because we have plenty of awesome actions coming up for you tonight. Envy will look to shake off a rough start when they face off against Liquid, but first we have an even more important matchup, or equally important, up to you, Immortals versus Phoenix One. Now, if you're looking for a deeper dive into the jungle matchup of Dardoch versus Inori, head over to NA LCS 2, where Kobe is hanging out with I Will Dominate and Meteos, talking about that jungle matchup specifically. Gonna be a fun one.
Yeah, it's always fun to watch the jungle right now. In North America, like, junglers are leading in kills with Acadian Moon. We have Dardoch, we have Inori, we have all of these guys who are really delivering.
Yeah.
So, jungle, best role.
Jungle, best role, all our good casters are junglers as well. It's beautiful. Well, moving into this week, our games are going to be played on 7.2, which does bring quite a few changes that Zyrene will help walk us through.
Yeah, there's a lot of changes, but for pro play, we're going to cover the implications here. Not much is going to shift in terms of champions, but what you take on those champions might a little bit. And top lane, Courage of the Colossus is nerfed. Everybody's favorite mastery. Most people are going to be replacing it with the favorite mastery that everybody forgot about.
Grasp of the Undying!
Exactly. Grasp of the Undying will be making a return to the top lane. In the jungle, first spawn is now 3 seconds later, so you don't get as much of a leash, which is making people start on the top side so their bottom lane doesn't have to give up the wave push advantage. And then we go to mid lane, where Ghost is actually something that people were taking before. 2-second ramp up time on that, but we're still gonna be seeing things like Victor, Cassiopeia as well.
Yeah, not a huge impact on who's going to be played overall in those roles. The big change, I think, coming into this patch is lethality. Champion select-wise, not making a big change. Varus is still kind of the king of the hill, but it's worth talking about exactly what has changed with lethality. It's a lot better early on. You basically, levels 1 through 17, it's purely buffed. Level 18, it's the same. But in actual sort of damage numbers, what that means for damage you're going to deal, we have a handy-dandy graphic to show you what a Varus, a Jhin, or a Jace might do to somebody with a bunch of lethality. And you can see right here, basically what this graph means. In 7.1, 35 lethality gave you 13 to 26% more damage against a squishy champion like Ashe. In 7.2, that number is much higher. Specifically, look at the level 11 bar in the middle. With the Buffy 7.2, you're looking at mid-game spikes, 3% more damage against squishies.
Yeah, about 3.5% more damage against squishies. That's the real-world example there, because we will be seeing builds like the Youmuu's Ghostblade and Edge of Night, and they'll be trying to hit people like the Ashe, like you said. So overall, lethality just better throughout every part of the game except level 18, where it equals the 7.1 values.
Yeah.
But those builds were already popular, so we're just seeing those builds be even stronger.
Right, we expect to see some first-pick blue side Varus games. Of course, we know that Jin's going to be even better. Jace has already been popular as well and is going to be even higher priority.
Yeah, it's crazy because Kha'Zix was like first pick every single time on blue side. Varus actually made his way in there in the EU LCS to first pick a few times. It's very surprising because jungle priority has been very high. And I talked about junglers in North America. They aren't playing Ivern and things like that because they want to kill people. They want to play things like Kha'Zix. So I'll be keeping track of who's playing Varus first pick, who's picking Kha'Zix. Because I think North America's still going to be a little bit on that Kha'Zix train.
Yeah, we'll see what it ends up being as all the games sort of start panning out. But let's turn to the teams that are going to be playing. Of course, Cloud9 in sole position of first place, still looking very good, but there's a host of 3-1 squads trying to keep pace against them.
Yeah, FlyQuest, TSM, and Phoenix One. And there's been a lot of talk with both FlyQuest and TSM. And Phoenix One's the one that I want to talk about here because they have been consistently strong, and they're the one that went a little bit under the radar because TSM had a bad start and started ramping up, and FlyQuest was undefeated until last week. Whereas Phoenix One, they lost in their first week, but now they are showing that this is a team with Inori as the backbone and that carry jungle, that all the roles can now come together. Zig, top laner who was rather invisible, got a player of the game last week as well. And then their two imports, both Ryu and Arrow, they're showing that they are a force to be reckoned with, and they're playing TSM on Sunday. So that's a big decider for who's going to be looking like the second place team in the North American LCS behind Cloud9.
Definitely agree. P1 TSM, you wouldn't think it, but actually going to be an incredibly important matchups here.
Oh.
P1 beat them last time.
Exactly. They actually
broke the
ruined
17-0,
They ruined the 18-0 season from TSM. A lot of people would be like, TSM 17-0, perfect split.
Yeah. Can't forget P1 anymore. These guys are definitely here to show. So it's going to be beautiful. Let's have our casters now.